Hey everybody, it's Eric with Eric's Garage AZ coming at you today. And we have another episode of What's in Your Garage. Today we are in Phoenix, Arizona on 7th Avenue, just in what's called Central Phoenix. And I have an opportunity to shoot a video of a 1938 Ford pickup from a buddy of mine named Alan Gross who lives here in Central Phoenix. So stick around for more. All right, we're gonna knock on the door and see if he's here. Well, hopefully he's here. We have the right time and I have the right location, so hopefully he's here today. Ah, look at this. We have the door opening. That's always a good sign that if I knock on the door and door opens. So here we go. Look at this right there. Alan, come on out, man. Hey, I appreciate you being here with us today.
It's all right.
Thank you so much. And this is my buddy Alan Gross right here. And we've got this beautiful, we're going to go over here. We've got this beautiful 1938 Ford pickup truck. So, Alan, it's a pleasure to be here. What I want to do is take a few pictures of this beautiful, beautiful truck. And then we'll pull it out. Can we do a cold start video in a few minutes?
We can do that.
Love cold start videos, so stick around. So Alan said we get to do a video of cold start on his truck. So let her rip, Tater Chip. And look at these exhausts here. Isn't that cool, man? I dig this truck. You hear that door slam? Awesome truck. Very, very tight truck. I like that lopey sound, man. It's heavily jammed. All right, so we're going to ask and pull it out. All right, Alan, can you pull it out for us? All right. So I've got this 1938 Ford truck. Again, it's Eric with Eric's Garage AZ, and we have a show board here, and it shows the condition of the truck before and then during the restoration process. And Alan here is going to explain a little bit about what's going on with that show board there. So Alan, kind of take it away for us here, bud.
Okay, we'll start. This is kind of what the truck looked like when we started. A little bit of rust here and there, a few holes in it. We did a complete frame using only the 38 outer rails. Everything on the interior has been rebuilt and set. See here, these cross straps were we made sure it was exactly square.
Right.
Of course, and then those were removed after everything was run into place. You can see the Halbrand quick change being set in there.
Right there, right?
To set,
right.
Okay. The Halbrand here, of course. And just a lot of welding little holes shut, rust spots and set as you put this together. This is kind of one piece rolling at this stage. Okay, good, good. This is where we narrowed the rear of the frame to get the large tires on, kicked it in and back. Alston chassis work, ladder bars set up. This is a Gear Vendor's underdrive overdrive hooked onto the C4. Okay. And then this is we started off with a Ford crate motor and then tore it apart. Of course. And put it back together the way I wanted it using Hilborn electronic fuel injection, the 8-stack system. This is installing the bed. We started to set the bed into it. Wow. And that's pretty much years of work. That's quite the process. So now we have an opportunity to check out the finished product, so stick around. Hey everybody, it's Eric with Eric's Garage AZ coming at you today. I appreciate you watching these videos. I want to take a minute to ask you to be sure to hit that subscribe button located someplace up here and the notification bell that goes ding every time a new video gets published. In the meantime, folks, remember, drive it like you stole it, bitches. See ya.
So again, I have Alan here with his 1938 Ford pickup truck. So he's going to tell us a little bit more about this car and some of the really cool features on this truck, rather, that you don't see on any other vehicle. So take it away, Alan. What do we got here, bud?
Okay, we kept the front. The whole idea of building this thing was kind of a late 60s gasser. So we kept the front of it stock 38 grill headlights. Okay. Those are water jet cut Nerf bars that we designed for it on each side in place of the fenders. We took the side grill. I thought if you're going to put all that effort into a motor, why, you should be able to see it without having to raise the hood.
Right.
So we took the side panels on here and cut them out and reset this water jet frame and rebuilt. This is an entirely new, based on the original, of course, but it's about larger.
Okay.
On it, but it is the same colors and such on the back. And we went to we kept, because of the whole idea of being a gasser, we kept the buggy spring front, and it's a 37 tube axle under it.
Okay.
Then we went to 4-wheel disc brakes all the way around, and interestingly enough, the brakes are not power; they're standard brake. And Willwood, they're good enough with the 4 discs that I've had no trouble at all without a power assist.
Wow.
So. We also went to power steering on it, and we'll open up the hood and take a look underneath.
He says we're going to open up the hood. All right.
And staying with the kind of 60s vibe, I always loved Big Daddy Roth and the Rat Fink, so you'll see Rat Fink on the cover of the power steering tub, Rat Fink keeping an eye on what's going on here. An 8-ball had to appear somewhere, and then we, as I says, we rebuilt the basic motor. Rods, pistons used a Joe Hunt Vertex magneto on it.
So what is this again?
It's a Vertex magneto. It's the old 60s style rather than a distributor. And this one was rebuilt by Joe Hunt. It's a company that takes Vertex and takes them one step further.
Wow, okay.
So it works quite well.
That's some real thick spark plug wires. What kind of volts is this thing throwing out?
I'm not real sure. Probably we're running somewhere in the 40,000 volt range on what it's putting out. I do know I crossed it one time and it bit the heck out of me. So it really is high voltage. So anyway.
Now I see these 6 stacks. You mentioned they were, or 8 stacks rather, and that is part of the...
That's a
Hilborn?
Hilborn fuel injection. 8-stack fuel injection. Each stack feeds a piston on here, and they're about 1.5 inches. So what I've got is much more airflow than I'd get with 2 4-barrels or any kind of custom on it. The stacks were, I cut them, bent them, again kind of a Big Daddy Roth thing, but I needed to bend them and move them because we set the motor back gasser style into the frame by about 8 to 10 inches. And setting it back that far, if the stacks are straight, they hit the firewall.
I see, so you had to kind of cant them forward a little bit.
So they're canted forward at an angle. And so the firewall's a stock firewall.
Okay, cool. It looks very, very clean. What did you, let's look at this here. So, what did you do to clean up the firewall?
Simply welded all the holes shut, made sure it was straight, then went through the whole thing with trying to put as little penetration of the firewall as possible.
Okay.
So the only thing that comes through this firewall is the throttle cable, actually. Everything else either comes down below, drops below, or I don't need it.
Very nice.
Put it that way.
Wow. Now it looks like it's Holman Moody engine. So what kind of horsepower are you bumping out of this thing here today?
Well, we're not really sure. I haven't had it dynoed. When we started,
approximately,
no, we're probably running in the 600, 650 somewhere in there.
That's very respectable.
So it's it's not a monster horsepower because I want to drive it down the street once in a while.
Right.
So it's full roller cam, roller lifters, everything is roller in it. So it's really pretty smooth, and it behaves on the street quite well.
That's pretty cool.
So the I'm trying to say the engine when we acquired it And we did dyno it with a single 4-barrel, and it dynoed at 475.
Oh, wow. Okay.
With a single 4-barrel.
Sure.
So the 4-barrel manifold, everything went away.
You said you redid the engine to your specifications.
Right.
It looks like you've got some pretty good headers down there.
And the headers are custom built because, again, part of the gasser thing, we wanted the headers to be fender dumps.
Right.
And so they actually come out in behind the tire.
Okay, so they come out right back in here?
Right, they're coming out down here.
And then it looks like the pipe runs along the side, so we have the exhaust is coming out the side here as we showed you earlier.
Yeah. The pipes run back to a set of mufflers that go in and out on the same end. So they go back into the pipe, and then the pipe comes back out and comes out to the side exhaust.
That's pretty cool.
So that way I didn't have to worry about getting it up over the rear axle and in the way of everything as we put it together.
That's very creative. I like that.
And of course, in the old gasser days, you'd crawl under there and unscrew the dumps to open it up. We went one better. It's got electric dumps on it.
Oh, very cool.
So I can just hit the switch in the cab and open the dumps up.
I bet it sounds awesome.
So it sounds good. We can open it later if you want.
We can do that,
see what
so let's take a look at the inside of this vehicle here.
And so the inside, we stayed stock bench seat. And the same banjo steering wheel. The dashboard has been redone. The attack is Jones.
Here, say this again. The same banjo steering wheel?
It's a banjo steering wheel, 38 banjo steering wheel. And we used an I did it column, however, to get something a little bit more maneuverable for us.
Okay.
And redid the dash, obviously.
Let me get a picture of that here. So it looks like you used moon gauges.
Used moon gauges except for the B&M transmission temperature, and the tachometer is Jones Motorola. Everybody says Motorola. That is wrong. It's Jones Motorola.
Okay.
And it's a 12,000 RPM tach out of an Indianapolis car.
Wow.
And it's cable driven. So that's one of the things we had when we set up the magneto. We had a cable attachment established to the stem, so I could run back and use this tach.
Very cool.
It's a stock clock in the glove box.
Okay. That's
and
pretty neat.
The window still pivots up and down, although I filled in
the front windows do?
The front
Okay.
window.
Oh, I see the weather strip right here.
Yeah.
Well, look at this.
Cranks open, little ventilation. It had a vent cowl. We closed that off because I saw no need for an opening window and a vent cowl, and it makes it a lot smoother. We took the rain gutters off, smoothed down the cab completely, filled a bunch of seams. All of the switches are back underneath the seat, so there are no switches on the dashboard at all.
I can't get my camera down there, but underneath the seat there's a whole row of switches and push buttons and things. Pretty cool stuff. This is high tech for a 1938 truck, I'm telling you.
The game is remembering which switch does what.
True.
Because you can't see them.
Right.
So,
that means you have to have a good memory.
And of course the theme, and the one thing I say about if you're going to build something like this, set a theme and write down what you want to do.
Yeah.
Decide how you want to do it. So we wanted a middle, late 60s gasser, and because of the 60s and all, we decided skeleton accoutrements would be very interesting. So you notice the skeleton arm holds up the hood.
Yeah.
The skeleton arm becomes the gear shift, and it's got a World War II pineapple hand grenade in it.
Cool.
Makes it hard for me to visit the airport. But other than that, and of course the skull tips on the exhaust on each side where they break out. We radius the running board just a little bit to get them up underneath.
That's pretty cool.
And so
let's take a look at this bed here. Now this is pretty cool. Is this actually? This thing I'm going to show you guys here, is that the fuel tank?
Yes, it is. That is the actual gas tank.
So Alan, I see these tires a little bit bigger than your stock 38 Ford pickup truck tires. So tell us a little bit about this tires here.
Okay, well, we wanted to keep these are the stock rims, 1938 truck rims. And of course, originally they're only 7 inches wide. So we took them, we cut them loose and spread the rim out. So the front ones are 8 inches wide and these rear ones are 12 inches wide.
Wow, that's a lot of tread hitting the ground.
So it allowed us to get a good sized tire on the back. The front we used Goodyear Formula 1 tires from the thin tire. And the back here we're using Hoosier, and they're about 14-inch wide tires.
That's some serious meat hitting the ground right there, folks.
But the height of the tire is only 29 inches. So it doesn't look like an off-road vehicle with a 32-inch tire or whatever sitting under it, and it gives it a nice slant toward the front.
It's got a really cool stance.
Right. So a little bit lower in the front than the rear. So
yeah, I like that. Now I notice here, a lot of the older trucks, they have a lot of chains and things of this nature. You don't have any chains back here dangling, and it looks like this is all sealed up. Was it more like attention to detail, or you want to clean it up or something? What was the story with that?
Well, it was cleaning it up, attention to detail. Number one, having chains, even if you put them in rubber hoses back here, they end up beating the paint all to pieces. And after you put a paint job like this, and the judgment of a good paint job is whether you can read the morning newspaper in the paint.
Right.
And as long as you can read the paint, then you've got a good paint job. And some people may not know what a newspaper is. I don't know.
I had never heard about that before. The idea of a good paint job, or the quality of a good paint job, is if you read the morning paper in it. That is pretty cool.
So we don't want the paint job all beat up by the chain swinging around.
Right.
So, and closing up the end here, this just keeps trash from getting up in there.
Oh, and also kind of, I imagine it keeps it dry, so
and
it rust out?
Keeps it dry, no rust. And we closed off the stake pockets. So there are no stake pockets. So everything is nice and smooth. I'm trying to keep everything slick. And
cool.
we just put in a very small spring-operated latch on each side that keeps the gate tight.
Well, let's open this gate and take a look at this wood here.
Okay, now I might mention these are small block Ford connecting rods.
Oh, look at that!
That we use to mount the tail lights. Worked out really well. They fit perfectly.
What were those again?
They're small block Ford connecting rods, con rods.
That's pretty cool.
So
we're going to open up the back end of this and take a look at this wood. Tell us about the wood.
Okay, the wood is South African Padawak. I chose it because it gives kind of a red tint. This is House of Color paint called Midnight Blue. And once in a while with the sun on it, it'll get a little bit of a red reflection out of it, as well as being, blue in the sun, a little bit of red perhaps, in the dark it's black. And so the red wood kind of went with the blue. These are speed bump, what they call speed bump dividers.
Oh, they're raised. Okay.
Rather than the standard kind of upside down U shape.
Right.
Makes it a little bit smoother. And this back bed lifts so we can get underneath.
Well, let's take a quick look at that.
We can do
I
that.
don't have some pictures of that.
Okay. The trick was getting a hinge that worked. Because when you're raising something like this, it has to come forward and then up. If it just comes up, you catch all the edge of the wood, splits it, real mess. So I finally found, I think it was like a Dodge Caravan, that little snub hood they have on the things, had that exact right hinge to come forward and up, and that's what's in here. But it took a long time to find a set that worked. As you can see, the bone idea stays with it. The hip bones hold this thing up in the back.
Oh yeah, those are bones right there. Now, you have, let me see here.
That's the oil cooler on your left, transmission cooler on the right.
Okay,
that's
so
the,
what was that again on the left?
Oil cooler.
Okay.
And it's on a thermostat.
All right.
So, and the same with the transmission cooler.
Okay.
And that's the extra oil for the quick change.
Okay.
In the small tub there. And you can see the...
just incredible attention to detail with this particular build here. I mean, this build is very, very impressive. You guys are looking at this incredible attention to detail that he put in this truck here.
This is the trunk, right here on the side. And underneath the center part here, the license plate will raise and lower. When the ignition's on, license plate comes down so I can drive it without any problem. When I shut it off, license plate disappears. And it's got a 1938 stock plate on it, so which MVD allows you to do, match the year of the vehicle with the plate. So it took a while to find a plate that worked, because all the people at ASU with the ASU plates have exactly the same nomenclature, a letter and numbers. And so finding a 38 plate, which is letter and numbers, that hadn't already been used for an ASU person was a little bit difficult.
Wow, no kidding.
So finally found one and got it registered though, so we're all right. See where we tubbed in the beds to get the tires under.
All right, so we're going to wrap up here in a second, folks, but hopefully you enjoyed this, and we're going to talk to Alan here in just a second. All right, folks. Well, again, it's Eric with Eric's Garage AZ, and I am with my friend Alan Gross here, and we just got done checking out his 1938 Ford pickup truck that's totally, thoroughly customized, and off camera he said it was like a 10-year build, which is incredible. So, Alan, as we wrap up, is there anything you want to tell the people here about the car collector business, the car enthusiast, custom builds, things of this nature?
Well, I guess I'd say, first off, about the nicest bunch of people I've ever dealt with. I really enjoy the car shows and such with the folk. The other is, you're going to build something like this, have a plan. decide what it is you want to do before you start. Even do some drawings, whatever. Look at other people's cars. Because otherwise you just kind of stumble around and bounce off the walls, and all it takes is money. Right. You know, so I feel, how fast do you want to go? How much money do you have? You know, how cool of a hot rod do you want to have? How much money do you have? How much time? So know what you're going to do before you start doing it. It'll save you a lot of time and effort.
That is very well said. Know what you want to do before you start off on this project, and make sure you have plenty of money in your pocket. So as we wrap up, I want to say thank you very much, Alan. You're an awesome guy. And this is another episode of What's in Your Garage. And like we say in Eric's Garage IZ land is, drive it like you stole it, bitches. See ya. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more right here on Eric's Garage AZ.